Assalamu alaikum everyone, this is Ibtihajuddin and I am here to give the presentation on a research paper written by Sreekanth Tangudu, Data Warehouse as a Service. Why do we need a data warehouse? Our everyday data processing activities create massive amounts of data. Today, with data available in many different formats from varying sources and via diverse access methods, companies need a solution for managing business information. Here, data warehouse is must for running an enterprise of any size to make intelligent decisions. It enables the competitive advantage. Data warehouse is essentially tells about data and its relationship and it is foundation for business intelligence. Well, data warehouse in cloud computing. Cloud computing has emerged as a new paradigm for hosting and delivering these services on demand over the internet. This paper discussed the concept of hosting data warehouse on cloud and providing it as a service. In recent times, there is rapid and agile development in the field of computing and network, and the processing power has increased tremendously, and the success of the internet boosted up development of computing platforms, which paved new ways of computing in the field of computers. Their cloud computing development deployment models can be categorized into three types. In fact, they can also be called as various types of cloud computing, and they are public cloud, hybrid cloud, and private cloud. In cloud technology, the information is shared from clients to the organization through a virtual data center. This virtual data centers has all the required information. The cloud technology model includes software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service. And it's also stated in the Venn diagram you are seeing in the presentation. In this article, they proposed an architecture explaining how to extract the data from various sources of the enterprise at different sites and transform the data and to load into a target server, and also how to create, publish and manage the data in data warehouse. Also how a data warehouse can be delivered as a service to the client using a cloud computing models. ETL procedure. In computing, extract, transform, and load refers to a process in database usage and especially in data warehousing that involves extracting the data from outside sources, transforming it to fit operational needs, and loading it into the end target, which is our data warehouse. And let me explain you these terms singular. Extract. The first part of an ETL process involves extracting the data from the source system. Most data warehouse projects consolidate data from different source systems. Each separate system may also use a different data organization format. Common data source formats are relational databases, flat files, but may include non-relational database structures such as information management system and data structures such as virtual storage access method or index sequential access method, or even fetching from outside sources such as through web spidering or screen scraping. Transform. The transform stage applies a series of rules or functions to the extracted data from the source to deliver the data for the loading into the end target. Some data sources will require very little or even no manipulation of data. In other cases, one or more of the following transformation types may be required to meet the business and technical needs of the target database. Load. The load phase loads the data into an end target. Usually the data warehouse. It's that simple. But depending on the requirement of the organization, this process varies widely. Some data warehouse may overwrite existing information with cumulative information. Frequently updating extract data is done on daily, weekly or monthly basis. Virtual ETL procedure. As of 2010, data virtualization had began to advance ETL processing. The application of data visualization to ETL allowed solving the most common ETL tasks of data migration and application integration for multiple dispersed data sources. So-called virtual ETL operates with the abstracted representation of the object or entities gathered from the variety of relational, semi-structured, and unstructured data sources. ETL tools can leverage object-oriented modeling and work with entities representations persistently stored in a centrally locked hub and spoke architecture. Such a collection that contains representation of the entities or objects gathered from the data sources for ETL processing is called metadata repository, and it can reside in memory or made persistent. ETL tools can transform transition from one-time project to persistent middleware, performing data harmonization and data profiling consistently and in near real time. Managing stored data. How do we deal with the stored data? Yeah, that's the first question came into our mind, and we need effective strategies to handle the stored data, warehouse data. To provide guidelines for stored data management, we turn to the technique used in real life. And in this paper, they have discussed data warehousing over cloud computing as a compelling paradigm for managing and delivering services over the internet. Let's discuss the architecture and how we do it. Steps to create data warehouse over cloud computing. Develop the API which is used for data extraction from various sources. After extracting the data, then transform the data in various dimensions over the server. The data is loaded into the data warehouse, ready for usable by OLAP and data mining tools. Analyze the data in addition to one data warehouse where all data come together. An organization may also choose to use data marts which carry only parts of data of the data warehouse. Data marts are more specialized and therefore easier to deploy. A data mart is set up by a single department or division within an organization for a single purpose, then quickly implement a needed system without affecting or changing the existing data warehouse. We move towards the cloud and is just as relevant for data marts as for data warehouses. Managing data warehouse and application over the cloud. The vast majority of SaaS solutions are based on the multi-tenant architecture. With this model, a single version of the application with a single configuration is used for customers. To support scalability, the application is installed on multiple machines, which is also called as a horizontal scaling, and the data warehouse resides in the data center, and the queries and the managing the data is done by service provider. Analytics applications such as EII products enable loose coupling between homogeneous data consuming client application and services and heterogeneous data stores. And now, time for the practical implementation of our proposal. It contains data manipulation, and for that, there are two types: enterprise information integration. Data sharing is done at company level through the first stage. This represents the different data sources that feed data into the data warehouse. The data source can be of any format: plain text file, relational database, or other types of database. Excel file, etc., can all act as a data sources. All these raw data are integrated at the application server by providing various APIs to upload these data. And now restoration of data. Depending on the different parts constituting the data information, the second part is to collect the data from the uploading site and reproducing the original data. This step is done at company level. Now, performing ETL operation. There are several layers of operation involved in the ETL process, and we will be discussing them further. Data extraction layer. Data gets pulled from the data source into the data warehouse system, and there are the following methods of physical extraction. One is online extraction. The data is extracted directly from the source system itself. The extraction process can connect directly to the source system to access the source table themselves or to an intermediate system that stores the data in a pre-configured manner, for example, snapshot logs or change table. With online extraction, you need to consider whether the distributed transactions are using original source object or prepared source object. Offline extraction. The data is not extracted directly from the source system but is staged explicitly outside the original source system. The data already have an existing structure and was created by an extraction routine. There are also other terms which I would like to explain, which are staging area. This is where data sets prior to being scrubbed and transformed into data warehouse and data mart. ETL layer. This is where the data gains its intelligence as logic is applied to transform the data from transactional nature to an analytical nature. This layer also this layer is also where data cleansing happens, and ETL design phase is often most time consuming phase in a data warehouse project, and an ETL tool is often used in this layer. Data storage layer. This is where the transformed and cleansed data sit. Based on scope functionality, three types of entities can be found here: data warehouse, data mod, and operational data store. Data presentation or data logic layer. This is where business rules are stored. Business rules stored here do not affect the underlying data transformation rules, but do affect with what the report looks like. Data presentation layer. This refers to the information that reaches the users. This can be in a form of tabular graphical report in a browser or an emailed report that gets automatically generated and sent every day, or an alert that warns users of expectation, among others. Metadata layer. This is where information about the data stored in the data warehouse system is stored. A logical data model would be an example of something in the metadata layer. A metadata layer is often used to manage metadata. Advantages of data warehouse on cloud computing. Yeah, let's just discuss it. For businesses struggling to manage their data, the cloud can provide a low-cost alternative to investing in infrastructure to manage it all on their own sites. Security. A combination of potential benefit related to cost and manageability combined with concerns about security and data transfer. Data warehouse have traditionally been defined as customized data storage service that aggregate data from multiple different sources and collect it in a central location to be able to run reports and queries of it. And one issue with data warehouse is many times this is highly critical and proprietary information that some may be reluctant to ship off to. Cloud computing is one of the newest and most innovative platform choices to come along in years. This is where numerous hardware servers and other resources are pooled and virtualized so that they can be freely allocated to application and software platforms as resources are needed. This enables software application to dynamically scale as workload increase. As the workload of an application decreases, resources are freed up for use by other systems. Furthermore, dynamic allocation and reallocation give the provider of the cloud fuller utilization of server resources with less administration work as compared to traditional data center approaches. Although cloud computing and similar virtualization techniques are firmly established with operational application today, they are just now starting to use as a DW platform of choice. Thank you guys. If you have any questions, you can find me at my Gmail. Good luck.